Right now, while you're reading this, there's a feature buried inside Windows 11 that may be photographing your screen every few seconds, and most of you have no idea it's even turned on. It's not a virus, it's not malware. It's a Microsoft-built system, shipping on a fast-growing category of laptops called Copilot Plus PCs, and in 2026, it's quietly graduating from a limited preview into something far more widespread. The feature has a friendly name and a helpful pitch. What it actually does is keep a searchable visual diary of everything you do on your machine. If you're on Windows 11, especially a newer one, you need to know exactly what this is, why it exists, and how to shut it down. Let me show you what's really going on. To understand why independent security researchers started raising alarms the moment Microsoft announced this feature, you have to understand what it's actually doing under the hood of your machine. The feature is called Recall. It ships on Copilot Plus PCs, Microsoft's branding for laptops that contain a dedicated AI chip known as a neural processing unit, rated at 40 trillion operations per second or more. Recall's job is simple on paper. It silently takes screenshots of your desktop every few seconds and stashes them in a local database, so you can later scrub through that history to remember what you were doing on your PC at a particular point in time. Type a natural language query, that recipe I was reading on Tuesday, or the spreadsheet I had open last week, and an on-device AI model retrieves the snapshot. Think of it as a time lapse of your digital life, built directly into your operating system. Every email preview, every bank balance you glance at, every private message you type, every tab you open and close, all of it frozen into still frames and indexed for search. Now, here's where this gets interesting. When Microsoft first demonstrated Recall in May of 2024, it was set to ship enabled by default on every Copilot Plus PC that launched that summer. The response from the security community was immediate and loud. Kevin Beaumont, a well-known independent security researcher and former Microsoft employee, tested the feature and published his findings on his Double Pulsar blog. He described the rollout as a baffling cell phone from Microsoft and demonstrated how an attacker with access to the machine could potentially harvest months of sensitive activity. The backlash hit so hard that Microsoft pulled the feature before it ever shipped. By November of 2024, they quietly tried again, this time with Recall turned off by default and limited to Copilot Plus PCs running insider builds, first on Qualcomm Silicon, then on Intel and AMD. The Information Commissioner's Office in the UK publicly stated it was making inquiries. Cybersecurity outlets from the Register to TechRadar flagged the same concern. A system that logs everything you do on your PC is a goldmine for anyone who ever gets access to that PC. So where does that leave us in 2026? Recall is no longer a preview. It has quietly become generally available across Copilot Plus PCs. Windows Central reported in 2025 that Microsoft had finally shipped the controversial feature after a year-long delay, and that it was now rolling out across all Copilot Plus machines. And Microsoft isn't slowing down. In April of 2026, a new set of enterprise recall controls is rolling out worldwide through Microsoft Purview, which means organizations are actively building policy around a feature that will sit on millions more machines in the coming months. Translation, this thing isn't being quietly buried, it's being normalized. Think about what that means for you. If you're on a new Copilot Plus laptop, one with that NPU chip inside, Recall is either already present on your machine or arriving via a future update. Microsoft says it's opt-in now. Microsoft says your snapshots are encrypted at rest with Windows Hello protection. Microsoft says nothing leaves your device. And to their credit, a lot of that is technically accurate. But here's the part that really bothers me about this. Encrypted at rest only means the data is protected when you're logged out. The moment you sign in with your face or PIN, those snapshots are decrypted for use. Anyone who sits down at your unlocked laptop, a coworker, a family member, a tech at a repair shop, or an attacker who's already gotten past your sign-in, has access to a visual history of your last several weeks. What you typed, what you read, who you messaged, what you bought, what you were worried about at 2 in the morning. The question nobody inside Microsoft wants to answer in a straight line is a simple one. Why does a feature this invasive exist in the first place? Officially, the story is productivity. People juggle too many tabs, too many files, too many documents. Recall gives you a photographic memory. It's framed as a gift. But zoom out a little. Microsoft has reorganized its entire roadmap around AI. Satya Nadella has tied the company's future to Copilot and its partnership with OpenAI. To make on-device AI feel indispensable, Microsoft needs a reason for you to love the NPU in your new laptop. They need a feature you can't get on a MacBook. They need a reason for you to upgrade. Recall is that reason. It is the flagship demonstration of why a Copilot Plus PC is supposedly different from your old machine. And that's the tension. The feature doesn't exist because users were begging for it. It exists because the business case demanded a killer app for a new hardware category. And it gets worse. Once a feature like this is normalized, the boundaries quietly shift. Today, recall is opt-in. Today, snapshots are local. Today, nothing is sent to Microsoft's servers. But read the fine print of Microsoft's own documentation carefully. The language says that any future options for the user to share data will require fully informed explicit action by the user. That sentence only makes sense if future options to share data are, in fact, being planned. It's not a guarantee of never, it's a commitment to ask nicely the next time. Combine that with the fact that OpenAI has already shipped a persistent memory feature in ChatGPT that references every past conversation, and you can see the direction the industry is moving. The screen you're looking at, the keystrokes you're making, the reasoning you're working through, all of it is being reframed as training material for somebody's AI. It's like the company built a glass house, handed you the keys, and told you not to worry because only the people you invite can see inside. Technically true. Practically, every guest who walks in gets the full tour. If you felt like something was off about how aggressively AI has been pushed into Windows 11 over the last year, you were right to feel that way. You weren't imagining it. The Copilot key on new keyboards that you can't reassign, the AI overlays in Settings and File Explorer, the constant pop-ups nudging you toward a Microsoft account. Recall is the logical endpoint of that trajectory, a feature that doesn't just suggest, doesn't just assist, but watches and remembers. When I sat down and actually read Microsoft's own support pages carefully, I stopped feeling paranoid and started feeling insulted. These aren't hidden settings. They're documented. They're explicit. And they're designed in a way that assumes most people will never look. So what can you actually do about this? Let me show you. Here's exactly how you shut this down, in the order I do it. On my own machine, step by step, no guesswork, no registry gymnastics unless you want them. First, find out whether your PC even has recall. Click Start, type the word recall, and look at the results. If a recall app appears, your machine supports the feature. If nothing comes up, your hardware is older and you're in the clear. This is important because Recall is a Copilot Plus PC feature, and most machines sold before mid-2024 don't have the required NPU. Quickly check this first, because the rest of the steps only matter if you're on capable hardware. Second, turn off the snapshot collection itself. Press the Windows key plus the letter I to open settings. In the left-hand sidebar, click Privacy and Security. Scroll down and click the page labeled Recall and Snapshots. Switch the Save Snapshots toggle to Off. On that same page, click Delete Snapshots to wipe anything already collected. If you want to go further, click Advanced Settings and use the Reset Recall button to restore the feature to its clean, pre-use state. Cost? $0. Time, about 2 minutes. What this breaks, nothing. Your PC will continue to function exactly as it did before. You've just told it to stop keeping a visual diary. Third, remove the recall components from Windows entirely. Turning the feature off is good. Uninstalling it is better because it removes the scaffolding the feature depends on. Click Start and type Turn Windows Features on or off. Open that dialog. Scroll through the alphabetical list until you find Recall. Uncheck the box next to it, click OK, and restart your computer when prompted. Once you complete those steps, the recall components are pulled off your machine. You'll know it worked when typing Recall in. Start no longer returns the Recall app as a result. If you ever change your mind, you can return to the same dialog and re-enable it. Fourth, if you want belt and suspenders confirmation, you can use a single command in an elevated terminal. Open PowerShell as administrator, right-click the Start button, choose Terminal with admin privileges, and accept the prompt. Then run the command dis/online/disable-feature/feature name equals recall. This is an official Microsoft-provided switch, not a third-party hack. It disables the recall feature at the operating system level and is the same mechanism enterprise administrators use. Restart the machine afterward. This step is optional for most home users, but it's a clean way to verify your intentions are applied consistently. Fifth, audit the rest of the AI surface on your machine while you're there. Open Settings, go to Personalization, then Taskbar, and turn off the Copilot toggle if you don't use it. Open Settings, go to Privacy and Security, and walk through the pages for Activity History, Search Permissions, Diagnostics and Feedback, and App Permissions. Turn off anything you don't actively use. On Copilot Plus machines, also check for a feature called Click to Do, which is an AI overlay that extends some of Recall's behavior. If you don't use it, disable it the same way. None of these steps require advanced skills. All of them live inside the standard Settings app. Now, a necessary word about who this guidance isn't for. If you're on a managed work laptop, something issued by your employer, a school, or a government agency, most of these toggles will either be locked or will be reapplied by your organization's policies. In managed environments, Microsoft has actually configured Recall to be removed by default until IT administrators choose to allow it. If you're in that situation, talk to your IT team before changing anything. If you rely on AI features for accessibility, voice dictation, screen reading, text summarization, be thoughtful about which toggles you flip, because some of those capabilities share underlying components. And this guide is about configuring the features you don't want. It is not about disabling Windows Defender, Smart Screen, BitLocker, or the core security stack. Keep those on. They're the things actually protecting you from real-world threats. Before you go, I want to leave you with this. Somewhere along the way, we stopped being the owners of our computers and quietly became the product running inside them. That's the real story underneath all of this. A feature like Recall isn't villainous because of what it does on day one. It's concerning because of the pattern it represents. The idea that your operating system should observe you, index you, and generate useful data about you by default. The direction of the industry is clear. Every vendor wants a persistent cross-session memory of your digital life because that memory is what makes their AI sticky, personal, and hard to leave. You don't have to accept that as the default. Turning Recall off is not extreme. It's not paranoid. It's not anti-progress. It's the most basic exercise of ownership you can perform on a machine you paid for. Your computer should work for you before it works for the companies that built it. Your machine, your terms. You started this video suspecting something was off. You now have a clear-eyed understanding of what Recall is, why it exists, and exactly how to disable it. 5 minutes of clicking and your laptop stops keeping a photographic record of your life. That's a fair trade. There are millions of us making these choices, quietly opting out of features we didn't ask for, reclaiming defaults one toggle at a time. You're not alone, and you're not being difficult. You're being awake. Do this today, not tomorrow. Open Settings, find Recall in Snapshots, and flip the switch. Then share this with someone who just bought a new laptop and doesn't know any of this is happening on it. If this breakdown was useful, subscribe. This stuff changes fast. And Microsoft's next move in 2026 won't announce itself with a warning label. Drop a comment and tell me what you want investigated next. I read every single one.